Hello and welcome back to From the Source podcast, episode 27. Apologies for last week's episode for the people who like to watch it on YouTube. I forgot to actually link the camera up when I recorded it, but I only realised once I'd done it, so it only really gone out for the audio people, but I still put it on YouTube. So yeah, apologies for that. Today's episode is going to be, I'm putting myself out there slightly, only going to do like a beginner part of this, but we're going to slightly touch on, well we are going to touch on nutrition. So this could open up a can of worms for people to just come at me about nutrition and everything else, but just so you know, I'm not a doctor, not a nutritionist. This is just stuff that I know of, have read and well used to implement. Now I'm struggling slightly with diet and stuff, but yeah, no need to worry about that. So you've started nailing your first few workouts and you're on that beginner journey for fitness, but you get a bit stuck between what you want to eat or how to eat, and you're still training hard or starting to train and nothing's happening. You're still feeling sluggish, but you don't want to count all your calories and what you're eating continuously and bore yourself, because a lot of people jump on MyFitnessPal and blow their own mind of it. So today's going to be a bit of a simpler basic nutrition and what you really need to know and what you want to build on. Slight spoiler, if you want to lose weight, you've just got to burn more calories than you eat. Simple as that. And if you want to put on weight, you've got to eat more calories than you're burning. And the trick to that is making sure you're eating the right foods. So if you're eating McDonald's fries 24/7, yes, you're getting more calories, but you're getting more fat and crap carbs. So that's the difference. So calories, yeah, quickly going to explain it, but calories are what your body uses as energy and the fuel that like keeps you going. So the fuel that you'll need for running or whatever you're doing day to day. And basically men burn between 2 and 2,500. Women is like 1,500 to 2,000 loosely. So macros are what you'll hear and see on videos of people talking about. So basically macros are protein, carbs and fats. Protein builds and repairs your muscles. Carbs fuels your training, helps your recovery. Fats are basically like your long-term energy stores, really, without getting too complicated with it. So roughly you're meant to be going off a kind of 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of your own body weight in protein. That's what you should be eating. Carbs should be a moderate supply. So it works on like 30% protein, 20 to 30% protein, 20 to 30% fats, and then the rest carbs. So you should be having about 20 to 30% of fats as your total calories. If you actually were to use MyFitnessPal, it's quite alarming the amount of food you eat that's got quite a high fat content that'll just chew through that 20% or 30% of your intake. So that's where you're snacking on like your chocolate bars and your McDonald's and stuff. It soon adds up. So basically you don't need to be absolutely perfect and dead on and be bang on 20% and or whatever for fats. You'll end up sending yourself depressed, but it's about having a good balance of all the protein, fats and carbs depending on your training style, what you're training for and everything else. But in this episode obviously we're just going to keep it a bit simple. So once you've understood that big picture, calories in versus calories out, the main thing for your nutrition is nailing your protein. And it's ones that people don't talk about too much. You'll see in the running world, and I've seen videos of it, that people just focus solely on carbs, enough carbs to fuel your run, which is great, that's what you need. But it's like after, obviously you put your body through a lot of stress, and the proteins are the main reason. We have them for repair. So they repair all your muscles. People sometimes think that obviously your muscles just getting super damaged from training. Basically there's just like little tears. That's like what the aches and pains are. Just like little tears in your muscles, and it's like growth, or it will be like growth of that muscle depending on what you're doing, lifting weights or running. So you just create those little tears, and that's what the protein's doing. Protein's like really key for your recovery, your strength, and if you eat a lot of protein like meat and stuff, go and have a mixed grill. Fills you up massively, but it's a lot harder to digest. So some good sources are like chicken, salmon, tuna. Breakfast wise, like Greek yogurt is a good one. There's like lentils and stuff if you're obviously vegetarian. There's like tofu. I've never really tried tofu. Fish and eggs and stuff. So they're like good sources of protein, and that's about balancing it in your diet. So there's plenty of like simple cookbooks out there. You'll see like air fryer cookbooks or just one pot cookbooks. Tonight we're having just like a one pot salmon dish, Tuscan salmon. So really easy, just chuck it all in. You can add like pasta and rice to it if you want. You can chuck like some lentils in there. It's like different ways. It's not super complicated, and the old way was obviously you saw bodybuilders just like chicken, rice, veg, like really simple. It doesn't have to be like that. Adding a little bit of flavour and sauce and herbs and stuff isn't going to rock your world, but it's about having that balance, like I said at the start. And if you spread like your protein intake throughout the day, so say you eat a mixed grill worth of meat over the day, you're not going to feel as bloated, you're not going to feel as tired. It spreads it out. You can't really digest a lot of protein. I can't remember off the top of my head, maybe 20-30 grams a meal before your body just can't handle it. Imagine if you had a whole mixed grill each time. It's basically like snakes and stuff have like one meal and they're absolutely out of it and they can't move and stuff. It takes ages to digest. So that's a bit of an analogy, a good one. But yeah, get your protein in. Make sure you're hitting that target. Remember, like 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram. Your 2.2 grams is if you're wanting to put weight on, like muscle and size. 1.6 is if you're cutting back and stuff, and somewhere in the middle, like 1.8 to 2, is your kind of maintaining standard weight. But it's all depending on like body size and stuff. I feel like mine was, I can't remember what mine was at one, having maybe 200, 220 grams of protein at one point if you're like really trying to bulk up and stuff. But like I said, it's just depending on how well you're digesting that. If you're going to bed absolutely zonked trying to digest it, it's not the best. So you put all that together, all the protein, work it all out and put it into a meal. I've put I'm going to put a little sample kind of day meal plan in the description. Basically just covering breakfast, lunch, snacks, some dinner, post-workout. Really simple stuff, but obviously at the minute, I say obviously like everyone knows, but at the minute I make like granola every week, which is obviously oats. I chuck in like fruit, you can chuck in like seeds, chuck in whatever you want, bit of honey, put it in the oven. That's your granola for the week. I was finding that the granola in the shops are like very high in sugar, and it was just crap, but I just have that with like oats yogurt, some fruit, and maybe a bit more honey. So good sauce in the morning. And obviously I've got like lunch down here. You can make it as simple as you want, but you can just have like grilled chicken wraps and salad and stuff like that. Maybe have it some rice, turn it to burritos, just something really simple. This depends if you like working from home or not. Snacks, just a protein shake. It's just as simple as it gets. Protein shake, a bit of fruit. Chuck in some nuts if you want as well. And then dinner, I've put in the plan like salmon, rice and mixed veg, but you can make it a bit more exciting. You can maybe grill your veg off. So you've got like some broccoli and stuff and squeeze a bit of lemon, a bit of salt on top. You can have some coconut rice and then air fry your salmon. And then a bit of a post-workout, a smoothie, chuck in some fruit, protein powder, really simple. And I think that's what it's about. The nutrition is just making it really simple, not focusing on like mad meals, taking pictures of your food. You see it all over like MyFitnessPal, scanning every barcode in the supermarket and stuff. It's not as detailed as that, unless you're going to turn into like Mr. Olympia. Just keep it really simple. So obviously you'll see like the fitness industry just really overcomplicate it, and with that you get all these like weird fad diets and stuff, and the keto, the detox diets, the no carb diets, the only meat diets, whatever they are. And you'll notice that people obviously lose weight on them or gain weight depending on, but it's a very short term thing. You can't just go and just eat meat. You can't just cut out carbs completely. You can do, obviously, you can do whatever you want, but it's not going to end well. You're not going to have any energy, or you're going to be really lethargic. So it reduces your calories in those diets, which will in turn make you lose weight, but it's not like a magic wand that, like I said, that can continue. So if you can't stick to the diet in the short term, you're definitely not going to stick to it in the long term. And if you're just eating like cardboard every time, you're going to put yourself off doing it, really. So could you do it for 6 months? Maybe. Probably miserable. Could you do it for a year? Probably not. You'd be kidding yourself. You don't need to do that. If you're still doing that diet in a year's time, then obviously there's other things going on as to why you're not losing weight. But instead of restricting yourself, just make it consistent and make it balanced and slowly chip away at it. Don't just go one day eating like normal or excessive, and then next day just deciding that you're going to cut out carbs and no carbs before marbs and just kill yourself to lose the weight. So small realistic changes, and slowly wean yourself off all the rubbish food onto some good food, and then build on from there. So it is really basic. Like I said, I think everyone just complicates it, and obviously this episode was aimed at beginners just starting off in the fitness world, but even the people that are experts in it just keep it really simple. All the diets, if you go and get a diet plan from anyone, it's very simple stuff. I've bought diet plans before to see what they're like, and some people really overcomplicate it. Like mad foods I've never even heard of, like telling you to eat like quinoa or quinoa or whatever it is. I don't really like it, but I'll eat it, and you're miserable eating it. Very like plain, no flavour, just boring. But in essence, that is like the simplest way with nutrition. Keep it simple. Make sure you're hitting those targets. Don't make it ruin your life. Live that 80-20 rule. You can break the rule sometime. You can go out for a meal, and there's more to it than that. So the last thing is the hydration, which is something that everyone doesn't forget about drinking. They'll drink obviously with a workout, but it's like the drinking throughout the day, keeping yourself topped up, that people normally forget about. So people won't realise that you need maybe 2 or 3 litres of water a day. You should be drinking pretty standard, depending, then obviously add in your exercise. Then before you know it, you'll need all this water and your body be like craving it. Keep yourself hydrated and get in a good routine of the timings of your meals that you're having for your workouts. So like your pre-workout meal, like 1 to 2 hours before you're going to go to the gym or go for a run and stuff. It's just like carbs and a light protein. So, if you're at work in the office and that lot, it could just be some yogurt, bit of oats, banana, sorted. It's no like heavy meal. Don't go have your sausage, pasta and stuff a meal deal down your face like 20 minutes before, because you're going to feel like crap. Your body's not had time to digest any of that into energy, and you're probably just going to run, or you might get away with it doing weights and stuff, doing like a high rocks class and stuff. You're just going to have a stitch for an hour and it's going to be minging. And then your post-workout, refueling with your protein and your carbs like a normal meal. So you go home, like I said, you have your salmon, rice and veg, get it all in, recover, a few glasses of water or a bottle of water to finish, maybe polish it off with a protein shake. And obviously, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but a lot of people I see will train like fasted. My opinion on fasted is probably a negative one if you're a faster, but I'm not a massive fan of it, like making yourself starving all day to then at the end of the day potentially train crap because you're not eating, and then eat all 2,000 or 1,500 calories all in one meal just before bed. It's just not the way to do it. You're gonna be miserable and feel like crap all day, and then stuff your face before bed and be absolutely knackered. So it's just a stupid way to do it. And then the last one is electrolytes, which I've not really ever spoken about. Electrolyte tabs, have 1 tablet a day. Just keep yourself ticking over, keep all those levels high. Potassium, magnesium, salt, all things that your body needs. And obviously if you're working out and sweating, all that stuff's being sweated out. So you need it. Definitely on some hot days, definitely on an intense session, and you can just drink them whilst you're training, just mixing with water. And that's it. It really is that simple. Protein, carbs, fats, drink water, eat at the right times, have a balanced diet, live that 80-20 life. Really simple. Nutrition doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be war and peace. You don't have to fall out of yourself. You don't have to be miserable. You just have to make sure you're eating the right food, being consistent, just small steps each time, nothing drastic. If you're watching this and your diet's what you think is poor, don't listen to this and then completely change it tomorrow morning. Just start simple. Get some like fruit or drink more. Pick one of those things first and then slowly start to change. You train and mix it all in. You've got loads of time, but we live in a world where everyone wants to rush things through and it just doesn't work. So yeah, keep it simple, consistent and personal to you. Whatever food you like, fit that in and work around all the macros, and that's the easiest way to do it. So if you found this episode helpful, please let me know. Like I said, the simple meal plan is going to be in the description if you've not wrote it down. If anyone's interested in a bit of a meal plan, there's something I can maybe get together, or if you want some like foods that people normally eat on diets, then please ask me. But I just comment like saying you like the episode, because as we all know, we live in a world where AI and everything can give you those answers instantly. But hopefully on a human to human level, this episode's kind of resonated with you. Please remember, eat well, train well, and give your body that fuel that it deserves and what it needs to work at optimum levels. But yeah, like, share, comment, and I'll see you on the next one.